Hiya, Jamie.
Hi, buddy, how you doing?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Not bad. Just a quick one.
Yeah.
You know, on that welder.
Yes. Are you talking about that Taurus?
That Taurus, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, can I have it just on crater fill, so I don't have to have hot start on?
Right.
Just have crater fill.
Yeah, you can. Do you know when you go into that menu, so you kind of navigate round the full sequence?
Yeah.
You know where? Are you in front of the machine at the moment?
I'm not at the moment, no.
Right. Okay. You know where the hot start is?
Yeah.
You only set that to 100%.
Right, I'm with you.
And if you set that any higher, that's when your hot start comes into play.
I'm with you. So you set that 100%.
Yeah.
And then you still have it on that third light down on the bottom of the screen.
That's right. And if you wanted to, you could change your hot start time as well. You could turn that down as far as it'd go as well. You know when you press the button and it goes green underneath it? Yeah, you can do that as well.
Yeah. I think it's a good old welder though.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah. It's 10 out of 1.
Do you find that you're getting through your welds a lot quicker?
Getting through welds a lot quicker, but I tell you honest truth, I welded a bracket on and I welded it on it wrong side of the beam.
Right.
But I've been welding a bit forceArc.
Right.
You can't unpick it with grinder.
No. forceArc's quite awesome, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah. But I had to, I have a gouging thing for plasma, so I managed to gouge it out, clean it up, and weld it out on the side, perfect.
Isn't it funny though that when you gouge it out, you can see how deep it is into metal?
Oh yeah, you can't see it, and you can't, if you went to unpick it with grinder, you'd end up cutting right through the beam.
You would, exactly.
Yeah.
And
welding.
Have you had anything tested yet, Jamie?
No, but we will have some welding tests to be done soon.
Right, brilliant.
I'm going to do that, the tube test.
Right.
For circular section.
Right, well don't forget when you have your test, if you need me to come over and help you with settings at machine or anything, just give us a call, I'll come out.
It will be, yeah, because we're going to that RootArc, don't we? The RootArc program with that.
Yes. Are you going to do some open root pipe?
Yeah.
So you can stove that root downhand.
Right.
I did some earlier. Well, actually I did some last night. The idea is that you've got that much control over RootArc, over that short circuit transfer zone, that it's really steady to move your wire really slowly. So you'd want to set yourself up like a 2.4mm gap.
Yeah.
When you tack it together, put your tacks in as if they're part at weld.
Yeah.
Just feather them back a little bit. And then what you do is you just drag your weld, and you don't weave your wire. Just once you get it established, just keep your wire right in the middle at groove, and it'll just weld it for you, lovely.
Well,
yeah.
And when you get back to your tack, you feather, are you better off having hot start on? You know, as you're adjusting to come to arc up again.
You can do that actually, but that's only if you're going to stop. So if you were going to weld into each tack and stop, then you could have hot start on, and that's a really good idea. But what you can also do is, you know, if you go to that left hand button, actually I've got one right in front of me. You know, you can go into 4x special, and I told you that when you tap your trigger, it goes to that second amperage on display. You know what? Yeah. Well, what you can do is you can actually set that positive. So if you're going round and you're putting it in at, say, I don't know, let's say 18 volts for your root. What you can do is you can set that second amperage, you can set that higher, like your hot start, so you can just tap your trigger and it'll go hotter, so you can burn into your tack, and then when you're coming out towards your feathered edge, you can tap it and it'll go back to your welding voltage.
Yeah, go back to your voltage that you wanted.
Takes a little bit of practice.
Yeah, I could imagine so.
But it's brilliant. And then when you, what shed pipe are you doing, Jamie?
What are we doing?
What shed? What thickness will it be?
The 3.6, it's only that circular hollow section. It's some wind bracing that's going in the eaves of the building.
Well, 3.6, you know, if you did your prep right, you could probably almost do root and pass in the same go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a day, and it's certainly feasible to do it in one go.
Definitely so, mate, especially at that thickness.
Yeah, and it just plays its job. Once you get it ticked in and zoned in right, it's a pleasure to use.
Are you getting used to trimming it a little bit with your voltage trim?
Yeah, you've just got to keep that's the time thing, is that you've just got to keep messing and just find out which little bit suits you.
Yeah. As long as you're happy, Jamie, and don't forget, you know, my phone's always on. If you need some help, like you did Saturday, just give us a call. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's sometimes when we're just welding something new or something different, and I just think I'll just make sure I've got the voltages and wire feed speeds right and what have you.
Yeah, I can do an equation for you there and then. We can make sure it's something like. And have you downloaded your EN1090 package yet?
I haven't done it yet because we're that busy on the building. We've got 20 or 30 ton of steel in front of us at the moment.
Right.
And they just haven't. But when we get this steel out, we'll have it done for end of month.
Brilliant. Well, when you download it, if you want me to talk through it with you, just give us a bell and I'll talk through some bits and bats with you.
Yeah, I'll probably have to come in and get you to download it for me anyway, because I have some good computers.
No problem. Well, we'll have a cup of tea and we can have a look through it then together.
That'll do, buddy.
Brilliant, Jamie.
That'll do.
Everything okay then, mate? Thanks very much.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye, mate. Bye. As you probably guessed by now, I'm mad about the latest welding technology, and EWM have been at the forefront of that technology for myself for the biggest part of the last 7 or 8 years. And the first chance I got to get my hands on forceArc from EWM, I didn't know what to expect. Up until that point, the only thing that I was kind of conversant with was dip transfer and spray transfer. And I got my hands on forceArc. Now, forceArc is highly dynamic. It allows us to really plough in the weld with a much faster travel time because of the constricted arc. And I mean, it's very, very narrow. The arc is very, very constricted and directional. Because of that, we can pull our weld preps in. Because we can pull our weld preps in, we're taking less material out of our weld surface. Because we're taking less material out, we're putting less material back in. And we're doing this with a much less heat affected zone, all down to the highly dynamic inverter, meaning that we can plough that wire in at that given voltage and still maintain a highly accurate welding arc. And to me, I couldn't get my head around it at first, but the increase in travel speed alone just is absolutely second to none. And we can see forceArc right here. Another one of the innovations that I'm incredibly fond of from EWM is RootArc, and RootArc gives us an exceptional control over the arc in that short arc transfer zone. And up until the very early 90s, that was still a very erratic area. That was purely down to the fact that we still used rectifiers and transformers, and once coupled together, these great big lumps of iron, copper and big old semiconductors were incredibly inefficient. And not only were they inefficient, but they couldn't react very quickly to what was happening at the arc. Now, with the best possible inverter technology, inverter switching, and this machine, it's multi-matrix controlled. The microprocessor in this machine is exceptionally fast. It's running on a computer. There's actually a brain inside of here running the electrics to make sure that the arc does exactly what it should be doing at those rates, speeds and transfer times that you need in modern day technology. This machine does not have pulse, so if you're looking for a pulse machine to be able to weld exceptionally awesome aluminium welds and stainless steel spatter-free welds, this may not be the machine for you, but it does have synergy lines for stainless steel and for various grades of stainless steel, for high alloy and low alloy steels as well, and unrivaled technology in those synergy lines. Another thing that I love about the EWM synergy lines is they need very little tweaking. All you really need to do, I always run in meters a minute and volts, is use the one knob control to select your voltage or the meters per minute in wire speed, and it's pretty much ready to go. Even with horrible wire, you don't really have to tweak the hell out of the voltage trim. Incredibly accurate synergy lines, all from EWM. Inside the wire feeder is where you find your charts for your synergy lines. As you can see here, this is for your solid wire synergy lines, this is for your flux cord synergy lines, this is for your forceArc process synergy lines, this is RootArc, and this is your additional synergies. So here you can have SP1, 2 and 3. They're special processors that you can buy additionally from EWM, and we can upload those to your machine via the Multimatrix software. Non-synergic welding, you can weld with this machine as a manual machine if you wanted to. You can gouge with this machine. TIG, it is lift TIG, but it's a phenomenal DC TIG welder. And also MMA E-hand, and it's all there to be used. This cold arc chart here, this is purely for the Alpha Q, which is the top of the range in the line of the Multimatrix MIG-Mag machines. Setting of the machine synergy lines is extremely easy. As you remember earlier on that job list selection, all you need to do, press job list and turn to the job number and that list that you want to use. I'm going to put this on the job list for forceArc for 1.2 wire, which I know from experience is job 180. 180, boom. The machine is ready to weld in forceArc, job 180, at that voltage, at that wire speed, which is going to deliver roughly 276 amps. Material thickness, wire speed, program. These machines allow you to store up to 15 job programs. This here is what I like about the EWM Synergic S with this particular panel, and it's very easy to use and understand. This machine also comes with Super Pulse, which switches between two currents, which is exceptionally good for uphill welding without the use of the Christmas tree effect. Hot start, 2 seconds, slope down, create a filter 40%, 1.5 seconds, or just go back to conventional welding. EWM makes some really good torches as well, and this is one of my favourites. I like to put this on all the Taurus and Phoenix packages that I sell. Inside this head, inside the swan neck, as I like to call it, there's cooling capillaries. So the water from the cooling fluid from the cooling unit inside the machine is pumped up through the torch, and it comes to the head first. So on some old style water cooled torches, it only cooled a very small part of the handle, meaning that all this part got very, very hot due to being exposed to the arc and the UV. With this torch from EWM, these cooling capillaries are cooled constantly by the cooling fluid, which is then taken back down the power cable, cooling the power cable at the same time, and it comes all the way back into the tank, into the water cooling unit, where it's kind of cooled down through the radiator and then pumped back into the tank and then pumped back out in its cycle again. But it doesn't end there. The technology doesn't end just there. The good thing about this is you can see there the physical size of the tip. Because the tip is very big in comparison to cheaper torch tips that you might find on the market. Let me just show you the amount of thread on that. See that? The thread on the tip is as long as the tip that sticks out itself, and that in turn screws into the tip adapter. The tip adapter screws right in to the swan neck, meaning that this is also cooled by that cooling fluid. It's not just cooling the head, it's also cooling this tip adapter, in turn cooling the tip. I've welded at 300 amps and within 30 seconds been able to take off the nozzle by hand without burning myself. And I don't mean 300 amps for like 3 seconds, I mean 300 amps on a proper 300mm, 400mm weld, and then after a good minute taking the nozzle off. And that's all down to the efficiency of the cooling tank inside the machine and cooling this head with this new technology. The downside is you can't really use them as a hammer, but when you're spending this kind of money on a highly tuned piece of equipment like this to kind of push your business forward, the last thing you want to be doing is using it as a hammer anyway. But in my personal opinion, it's one of the best torches suited to the EWM Synergic S. You may have seen these before, 25mm lifting lugs, 25mm plate, welded onto the plate with EWM TAURUS Synergic S 401 in forceArc 1mm wire, about 32.5 volts, really ploughing it in, deep penetration, really good, strong, solid welding. I didn't want to make it easy for the hypertherm flush cut, but what it showed me is just how dynamic and reactive and responsive the EWM Synergic S401 really is. And that's the video there of us gouging them off. If you've not seen that video, the hypertherm flush cut video, I'll put the links above. But again, no abrasives have been used in cleaning and fettling this up. That's clean. The little baubles of spatter that you can see, there's only a few of them. It's probably down to my poor technique in welding, or maybe a little bit of crap on the material or something along those lines. But again, it just goes to show how using new welding technology that welds faster with a more dynamic arc, cleaner, is more efficient from the mains, more efficient from the material that you use and the way that it uses it, and it can produce a much cleaner weld, faster, with less distortion, less downtime, all because of the highly tuned machine. But also when you look at the fact that you can remove time out of your production, because this now doesn't really need cleaning, it doesn't need secondary working. You don't need to be spending as much, if any, money at all on your abrasives, because this is an exceptionally clean weld, virtually spatter free, and again, EWM forceArc technology. Customers regularly ask me, in your opinion, what's the best welding machine? And I can't really answer that. Every single customer's needs are different, which is a good job that EWM's got a massive extensive range of welding kit. But what I can tell you is that I have 100% success with the EWM product and the fantastic partnership that MS Welding have established with EWM here in the UK. My name's Barry, this is MS Welding TV. Thanks for watching yet another video. Please do like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and I will see you next time. Thanks.